Hey there. So I think it's a Wednesday, and I have a few things I want to talk about. But I remember hearing a Wall Street guy. He was a former Wall Streeter, and he said I was wrong about the game. The game was to remember who you are, who you were. He said who you were, and it's true. You know, we have these past lives that are here and confused, and we don't understand that we've had past lives. We're all the same age. We've been all alive the same age. We've transcended, we've reincarnated, we've got amnesia, and so on. So he was wrong about the game, he said. You know, when I was an employer, I made the mistake once of, I had fired somebody, and I always made the mistake of keeping people too long, but I finally let someone go. And I remember they called an employment verification, and I think they had asked me, would you rehire them? And I said no. And I think I said why. I told them why. I got in big trouble for that. And that was a long time ago. I learned a lesson, you know, not to badmouth people and give them a chance to get work again. If you know, a lot of people, sometimes they want to get on unemployment and they'll break shit and do stuff, and you realize they want to be fired. And going on to rentals and Experian and credit reporting bureaus, they're the most horrific people on the planet, what they do to people. Recently we were looking into a rental, and my credit was actually not as bad as I thought, but because I have an unlawful eviction, the stupid asshole there at the office kept saying, well, it's an automatic denial. It's an automatic denial. We just won't put you on the lease. It's automatic. It's automatic. I mean, how many fucking times she said that to me? It's automatic denial. You just won't be on the contract then. And they're just lawless. They're completely lawless, what they do. I know things are changing. You know, you see some of the rentals are like, we can't discriminate against transgender or this or that or bad credit, or how you got your money. They're still not really talking about these reporting bureaus, the credit. It just depends on your credit reporting. The credit, yours is still pending, but it's an automatic denial if you had an eviction. Be careful when you're doing energy work. You know, I've done energy work and I'm like, I'm not here. I feel completely like I'm not here. And you got to remember, these presences on us are like that. We feel like we're saying these things and doing these things. You don't realize the presence is on you. On me all day, it's like, ugly bitch, fuck you, you did this, you did that, all day long. And when I walk about, what do? Yell at people, fat, nigger, ugly, old, all day. It evokes as the end. It truly does. And I know it's the food chain. So your silent trauma on you, and you don't understand why you're making decisions, and you're connected to this and to us. And it shows in your decisions and how you behave and things like that, you know, from sleeping around to neglecting your family to shoving your kids out of school where they don't get treated well, the teachers try to sleep with them, and so on. I remember when I was driving around Nevada, I was on the freeway and I could look down at these the cookie cutter homes, and it looked like computer decks. Exactly. You see, the universe is alive. It's a live sentient being. We've turned it into a war, you know, against humanity and animals and us. And so you can really take you got to go big picture. You know, these people on the news still are the stupidest people on the planet, and luckily there's some good ones coming forth, going on and on about stuff, tariffs, the gangs, and this, and that. We were conspiracy people during our marriage, and my ex-spouse and I remember they talked about the Amero, combining the money from Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. and calling it Amero. That really was a word they came up with. I could see how they would want to, you know, go into the dollar, you know, make it a dollar. You know, it's confusing when you look at the foreign money, you know, 10,000 pesos, you know, it's confusing. And they're not confused once they learn it, but you know, the world and the money system, and just the time it takes to decode all this is frustrating. When you unclock, you do have accents. You have different accents. I'll come in like a South African, or different areas of the universe. You know, they would make fun of celebrities for using a British accent, but that really is a spirit in them that they have. And a lot of people that are into music and things like that, a lot of them have opened up their third eye big time. And it's where you dream, where you daydream. Our ability to do that is lost, and it's blocked. Dreams are scary. I've had some real vivid dreams recently, and that I've been waking up from. And it's good to be at home, you know, and wake people up, you know, if you think they're having a nightmare, especially kids, even adults. And a lot of times you get woken up in your dreams, you know, in the middle of the nightmare, and you can be in your home again. But it's super vivid, and we really are there. Unfortunately, our sun and our moon are twixt. The sun is how you're perceived. The moon is how you really are, basically, you know, in a nutshell. I want you to know the cops don't support the protests. They don't. They support the ceasefire and being one with our allies and making everybody our friend and getting crime off the street. So you can get your permits and stuff, and they'll be respectful, but they don't support you. You say stupid stuff during your protests, whether it's the one in Hawaii that happened, or on the streets here, or here and here and here. They say the weirdest stuff during these protests. And so they don't support you. Just know that. They don't support that either. You're wasting a lot of time, unfortunately, a lot of manpower that can be put into getting real crime off the streets and out of our homes. So just know that you're wasting a lot of people's time by doing and gathering. And you're being dragged. You know, you're being dragged to do these. You're making decisions that you're connected with other realms, and you don't realize what's taking you down these roads. I definitely encourage you to go vegan and plant-based as much as possible. You can get your health back. You can understand what's going on in the world with the food chain and not be a part of the killing fields anymore. You know, before I unclocked and became telepathic, it's subliminal. It's very subliminal on us. Like, you're fat, you know, or you need some fucking Botox, or you need to raise your boobs because they're flat now. Get plastic surgery. You have cancer and you have to have this cut off. It's the biggest bullshit of subliminal activity on us. And when you open up, you're in the astral plane. So we're unfortunately vacillating between the two. People buying things they don't need, constantly spending money on food when they have food at home. All kinds of stuff is going on in our psyche. I realize, you know, when I'm closing the door, you know how it doesn't want to close. There's actually a pushback, and I feel the spirit will push back. So this aura is where we're mixed and tricked and everything else. I did watch an hour and a half thing on Thailand and the tsunami and the earthquake epicenter. You know, the things that happened there with the tsunami, and it's horrifying to see the devastation that happened and how they didn't get the communication, you know, in time to help people and get them out of the water. When you see the waves recede, you know, and the fish are flopping, run. You don't stay there. You got to run. It's a big wave coming in at you. And 12 feet high, you know, comes into these towns, and just, it's devastating. It was very sad. That was today I watched that. That happened around Christmas. I have a friend that mentioned, you know, that they put so many cars on the road, you know, before the trains and the public transportation, as far as, you know, just clogging the roads with cars and gas stations and bad stores selling crappy food. And we want to be like Europe, you know, with the beautiful transportation, the trains and this and that. So this is going to stop. All this stuff's going to stop. We just need food and self-sufficiency and helping people. We don't need all these factories, but we do want them for things like getting around, you know, getting things where they need to be, public transportation for sure. Automobiles, of course, you know, there's a lot of people that don't drive cars, you know, especially in New York. They walk, they take subways. You know, we're used to, unfortunately, because everything's, you know, 10, 15 minutes away. That means 30, 45 because of traffic. So we're all commuting, you know, separating ourselves from our family. And we can refurbish everything else, from automobiles to clothing. You don't need to make one more stitch of clothing. There's so many clothes out there. And I definitely encourage you to go to thrift stores when you want to go clothes shopping. They have great, great buys and finds. So we don't need to make any of this. Shoes, none of that has to be. They're like, when are we going to make who's going to make your Nikes? Well, fuck you. Maybe we don't want Nikes because what it represents, the competition. Do we really need a bunch of Nikes running around? Nike clothes? No, we don't. We do not need this stuff. I want you to carry cash for homeless. You know, I think you should. I think you should. You're all connected to the homeless, and you need to carry cash for them if you see them on the street. And a lot of good people do help people out that are in need, just like you're in need. You know, you're getting sucked into these stores all day long. You're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing, begging for your money. Same thing. Stranger danger is really real. You have to not meet up with strangers. You can only be around people that you trust, because they'll grab you and take you into a drop house or what have you. You've got to be really careful out there, okay? So I'm going to wrap this up. Okay, peace out.